It's live.
Backwards.
Morning. Good morning.
Wait, is it live?
Live.
Well, that's funny because it's that's awesome. Yeah, we've been live for 13 seconds. Yeah, I thought it was going live, but then it just went back to the box. But we're live. Hi everybody. Hi from my car. Welcome to day 22 of the How Can I Keep from Singing challenge, where we are indeed live. And I was just talking with Mrs. Pixel that this has kind of been a 3-episode arc of show up where you're at, because showing up ain't always pretty. Right now, I'm in a car because, we had kind of a change of schedule this morning, and I had to drive our daughter to school, and just kind of you adjust, you recapitulate and recalculate, and then just keep going. So, good morning. My name is Dan Roeder. I am a chief, a chief. I am a composer, performer, and educator, and the chief academic officer of David Z Foundation, and obviously so awake. No, I'm not sitting in a Starbucks parking lot. And I'm going to introduce also with me is Mrs. Pixel. Mrs. Pixel, would you go ahead and introduce yourself, please?
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. This is day number 22 of the
22.
challenge. We are a week out from our ultimate end zone here and excited to be here live in the Caropolis. And
It is Carapolis. Yeah. I thought you were gonna say end game, and I'm like, I actually like end zone a lot better because it's not the end game. This is just the
no,
beginning. This
no,
is just like we're scoring a touchdown, and
right,
then we're gonna
exactly.
get more points later because we've got some plans, which is gonna be really fun. But yes, this is the How Can I Keep from Singing challenge, and day 22 just means that we're 22 days in to low stakes practice. You can't get much more low stakes than broadcasting from a car. Yes, I am in a Starbucks parking lot. I will come clean. Uh, but it's great to be here and great to have one more day of showing up. So that's a celebration. It's a celebration every day. And tomorrow we will be 1 week away from the close of this challenge. So we've got some work left to do here. The first 15 days we have been studying Bartinia fundamentals of human movement, and that's all to just kind of open up sequential patterns and sequences in our body and bring our full self physically into singing. This second part of the challenge that we're 1 week into now, we're focusing a lot more on character and on bringing our whole mind and spirit into our singing. And so then by the end, we'll have mind, body, spirit. But we are studying Laban right now. And I think you said your screen share is ready. This is, blessed are the flexible, for they won't get bent out of shape. That's something that Father David Cohen always says, and just rings so true. So I'm just kind of adjusting, and that happens when things change. We adjust. But thank you so much for this is where we depend on our friends. And oh, what's also super exciting is that I never did figure out how to get it out of cell phone mode. So we're all squished, but it's okay. We're just closer quarters. So I'm gonna.
Stack the deck here, and that's
Yeah. Yep. I do love though, Mrs. P, that you are just kind of peeking above
picking
the
up.
challenge.
Yep.
This is great. So if you'd like to join us in this How Can I Keep from Singing challenge, that's one way to do it. You can go to that QR code, and for like a super life hack, you just take a screenshot and then force press it if you're on a touch screen. If you are more of a website type person, I'm going to go ahead and just take a moment and learn how to put that in the chat on my phone. See, got it already. There it is. Oh, apparently not. What is that? Oh, wait, did you write something in the chat? Oh, no, it's never miss a comment. That's Restream talking to us. Mrs. Pixel, are you able to see the chat? Because I don't know where the box is that I can write into it.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, can you write into the chat the nas.io / keep
Forward.
singing / that's right. Wait, no, with Laban /
Ooh.
and while she's doing that, that's another way that you can join the challenge is just through the website. It is called nas.io, and it's a community platform. So if you are just aching to start your own community, I highly recommend it. It's super easy to use. In our challenge, though, in the community, I still have to report. I'm not feeling super motivated to release, more checkpoints because I think there's 7 out now. And you can always start at day 1 and move your way through the checkpoints. Mrs. Pixel's still winning. She's still got 250 points, and nobody else is on the board. So I challenge you to join the challenge. And what you do when you join the challenge is, and what you'll be getting, number one, you'll have just this roadmap to more connected singing, and that's what we've been pulling apart. So you can kind of catch up with everything we've done already. Number two, you get access to Bandlab, our classroom in it. It is free anyway, if you go to bandlab.com, but we're using the educational variety of Bandlab, where we can just kind of collaborate a lot closer with everybody. We have our own like classroom platform, and it's pretty robust with the tools that you can do in Bandlab. So that's the only way to get the Bandlab is to join the challenge, because I want to keep it safe for everybody. I want to make sure that I have that touch point and not like get a flood of bots into our community. So
Yes, sir.
uh
Just one quick
yeah.
sidebar here on the chat. I can't seem to get into it. I can see the private chat, but I can't see.
Oh yeah, but don't do the private one. Do the so
Correct. Right. I'm just
oh,
saying I can't see it. I can only see the
okay.
private chat.
You can only okay, so it's in like do you see a little icon with people, or like
I mean,
a
I can
little
see it. I just can't get
palette?
in there. I just can't type anything.
Oh, you can't do anything. I can't either. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, that is.
I wonder if it's just like disabled for right now,
Yeah.
because usually like when I click on it, there's a box that shows up. So we I guess I'll go back and post the link. But let's go ahead and get started. So we've been um working on an arrangement of Trial of a Pair. So Mrs. Pixel, would you mind just giving a little background on this song for those just joining us, and then kind of where we're at with it?
Yes. So I represent Pair, which is a meme coin project on Solana. We have a website, paircoin.xyz, where you can check out all the ins and outs and tokenomics of our project. And prior to launch, we created this beautiful AI track by Orchard Brown called Trials of a Pair. And we launched it on every major music platform for 69 cents. And we love it. And so now we are in the process, right now in this challenge, of changing and rearranging the song in Bandlab to better suit my vocals and my tastes, my styles. So it's a Mrs. Pixel cover.
Yeah, it is. That's exciting.
We're about to rock
And
it.
that it's just, in the challenge, just to highlight kind of where we are. If you were to choose a song yourself, this is the find your key part of the challenge. We started with one song that Mrs. Pixel did in the beginning of the challenge for the first 15 days, and that was Tears for Fears, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. She crushed it in karaoke, which is every Sunday at 5 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern, I guess. That came up last night. And it's such a cool show every Sunday night. Just being able to, there's a lot of different karaoke spaces and talent spaces, and it's phenomenal on X, the platform X, formerly Twitter. But I think karaoke has something pretty special in that they don't only have prizes for the top singer, they have prizes for the bomber. when somebody who bombs it, and in complete supportive fun.
Yeah.
And that's just a really
Um,
enjoyable piece of it. We're not making fun of people, we're celebrating low stakes practices
and
in
offering support and learning, like through the singing challenge too. So we
right.
discussed that. And Dan um, did a live little bit of coaching, and that was super, super awesome, by the
That
way.
was fun. That was way fun. So
Yeah.
yeah, so join us for that. But that's the context for where we're at with the song. So the first thing was we took it down from E minor, which was a little high, and we want to get the when we're singing something as a performance, we want to get it in that money key. Like where it's really optimized for your voice to have the largest range in the song to be within like your best part of your range. It's very possible to do that. Sometimes there are songs that have an extreme range, and so they're going to be a stretch any way you slice it. You're either going to be like going kind of bottoming out or getting a little, outside of your comfortable upper range. But for pop songs and rock songs, most songs that we might hear on the radio are going to be a country for sure. They're going to be about a 5 note range. So like if in our 1 2 3 4 5 warm up, it's like 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1. That's the whole range of a pop song. That's it. So we kind of shift that up and down so that you're not reaching for notes, and you're not kind of going completely outside your wheelhouse, because there's plenty other ways that we can challenge ourselves rather than just picking a higher key than we can sing, or a lower key than we can sing. As I've worked with singers over the years, I found there is a lot of pride that can go into that, because it's almost like you think I can't sing that? Well, yes, I can. But it goes deeper than that. There's really nothing that's super um award winning about being able to sing in a certain key, because it really is just an arbitrary mod 12 system, just like time. We invented it, right? So it's a way that we can mark how high or low a pitch goes, which is also a trip because frequencies are actually long and short. So it's a total construct. So let that all go, let that wash away, and really be thinking, what is the message of the song? What is the story I'm trying to tell? What are the characters? What are those characters' actions and objectives? Ultimately. So like, actually, let's talk about that for a second, just because this is not exactly what I was planning on doing today, but that's okay. We roll with it, and I think it's a really good thing. As we're kind of continuing to unpack the Tears for Fears song. So Mrs. Pixel in Everyone Wants to Rule the World. What do you think the singer wanted? Like, what was the objective? What were they writing lyrics about to achieve?
I think the lyrics were trying to captivate the minds of probably the youth, the generational youth in that moment in time, and inspire, an individuality, um, just that capture the spirit of that era, like most songs try to aim for that are surging in popularity, seem to kind of have that undertone of, you know, it's a revolution, it's a movement,
Right.
a moment in time in history. Um, so yeah, everybody
But yeah,
everybody
no,
wants to rise to the top and rule the world with their brand or whatever it is, their message or, um,
right. But here's the bridge. There's a room where the light won't find you. That still I'm processing with the context of the song. Like, what do they mean? And like, all I can think is they're just trying to say things get rough, and you're gonna have time to recuperate. You're gonna have time where you won't be in the limelight, and being asked to give your full 100%. So I think my opinion is
right,
they're
'cause
saying it's time. There will be time to rest.
Right. There's time to, yeah. Right. And then there's, one headline, why believe it? So there's like this rogue kind of entity out there that's, you're trying to dodge it maybe. And yeah, there's this room where you can duck the headlines and I don't know, find your anonymity and yeah,
Yeah.
recoup
No, I
your
love that. So I think, I mean, we kind of have talked about it. What is the purpose? One of the themes or purposes might be to console, or to support, or to inspire. Something like that. Maybe a combination of all of those. But you can always boil it down to an infinitive. Like a love song is to communicate "I love you," or to you know. Whatever, like uh to ask you out on a date, or to say like, hey, like let's just have some us time. Like
stars are
so
aligned.
there's what's that?
The stars have aligned
The
and
stars have aligned, exactly. So
destiny.
so in this one it's more, hey, I'm on a quest to console. So I think we can, then you break it down to the objectives, and then just like in acting, this is very much an acting technique, and it's a combination of several different techniques. But once you have identified that objective, you start identifying the actions that are taken throughout the course of the song. And just kind of say, like, did that actually meet the objective? Did it change the objective? Did it not meet the objective? What was the emotional content behind that interaction between action and objective? So I'm saying this all just as context for why. Like, why are we doing Laban? So we're going to go ahead and take the second verse, and I'm not going to try and write it on the screen. We'll kind of work our way through it, Mrs. Pixel. And if you want to just kind of review the first part, and then go through the chorus just to kind of re-embody those. Um, that's how we'll start. But we are looking at these 8 different efforts in Laban, and they're on the screen. We'll keep them there the whole time. And so we have different energy behind each one, based on these 4 elements of either weight, space, time, or flow. So for example, the punch at the top, I actually can't see it, the chart, but I have it pretty well memorized now. The punch is going to be a heavy weight, and then a very direct space, and then the time is going to be quick. Like you typically don't do like a slow punch unless you're breaking something down, and that would be more sustained. And then the flow is going to be bound, because if you did a not bound punch, it would be like, you do all those things, but it's still not bound, and that'd be more indirect. It loses the effect of a punch. And so I think the punch is probably the easiest to see, like how that really, really affects the way we emotionally connect to that word of punch. So Mrs. Pixel, would you mind just kind of reading out the first verse? And if you remember the different embodiments, go ahead and do those. But then we can just do the verse first, and we'll talk through it.
Sure.
So go
Life
ahead.
of a pear ain't sweet. Right.
Yep.
Right. Hanging on a branch in heat. Keep going. Okay.
Yeah.
Never know quite why the good life's passing by.
Yeah. So there we go. Okay, so that first line, life as a parent sweet. What are you feeling for those? Are you still, because I know before we did, I think it was a punch slash glide, right? I think
Is that where we landed? Because there
life as a pair
was a
ain't
it was a it
sweet.
was a ring and a glide. No.
Oh, right. So life as a pair. Oh yeah, we're juicing the pear. That's right.
Mhm.
Um, so here, let me see if I can hold my phone at the same time I'm doing this. Because if I try and put on the steering wheel, it just falls over. this is how we adapt, right? So we have the punch, life as a pear ain't sweet, and then you have the glide of the uh, as opposed to like a float, which would be like, you're just whatever. A glide is more, we have more of that sustained, bound flow. um okay, so what's the next one?
Hanging on a branch in heat.
And did we, yeah, do you remember? I don't think we haven't
Haven't.
really done a lot of these,
Mm-mm.
right?
Yep, correct. Yeah, we didn't go there.
Yeah, so let's just finish this first verse, really. That's, just to kind of keep going on this Laban piece. Because that's right, we were doing it, but then I got distracted by the AI-ness of a certain line. So Mrs. Pixel actually ended up rewriting one of the lines, and now it's just, it kind of tells the same story, but it sounds more human.
Exactly.
So
No, it
always
was
a good thing.
really
All
good.
right, so let's do hanging on a branch in heat. Like that's a
Hanging.
lot of really powerful words in
Right,
that line.
right. A lot of
So what do
it.
you think on and we're gonna get rid of like infinitives and prepositions and things like that. We're really just focusing on the nouns and the adjectives and sometimes the adverbs and the verbs. So we're just kind of getting rid of all of those uh, syntactic. Is that a
Mhm.
word?
Sure, sure, sure.
Things dealing with syntax and grammar that are there just for the purpose of those. And we're really looking at the words that carry meaning. Hanging on a branch in heat. We have
Yeah.
hanging, branch, heat. What are you thinking for those
Hanging,
words?
definitely a press for me.
Hanging, yeah, hanging on a branch. So where would that press go? And this is what what's really interesting is always how you do these in order. Hanging on a branch. What would branch be? Actually, let's go back. Uh, what do you think the most important word of those three is? And this is subjective. This is your opinion. Hanging, branch, or heat?
Heat.
Heat. Okay, so that means we're going to push all the energy into the word heat. As opposed to like if we were to do branch, it'd be like hanging on a branch in heat. We're landing on it. We're giving it weight and gravity, and that's going to have a lot more emotional impact as a phrasal destination. But if we're everything is serving that word heat, hanging on a branch in heat. It kind of we really focus on like this is uncomfortable. It's
Mhm.
not like do you see the branch, it's this branch is uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
let's okay, so
yeah.
so now let's start with the word heat so we know where we're going. If that's the phrasal destination, we'll treat it as the most important right now.
Okay.
So for the word heat, what would that be?
Gonna
And
say,
try each one. Let's just go through it. Like if we do heat.
yeah, heat. Heat. That kinda it's up there.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to just so I'm not going against the visual. Can you read out the ones that are next? Because there's a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff over the top.
Yep. So press,
Press,
heat,
heat, that
heat,
heat, heat. Okay,
and slash. Heat,
heat, heat,
heat,
heat,
heat. And ring, heat,
heat,
heat, heat,
heat. No, no.
heat.
So the on what this is the important part. And as you guys are practicing this, really let that emotional content change how you deliver the word. It's going to change the dynamics. It's going to change the duration. It's going to change the weight of it. So this one, a ring might be more like heat, heat. We have that H, heat, almost no vowel for just the way I'm doing it. So how would you ring heat?
Heat. Yeah. It's,
And it
uh,
can make you laugh.
yeah.
That's information too.
Right. It's just so abstract here. Let's
It,
see.
it is. Let's wallow in the abstractness. What's the next one?
Dab. Dab. So
Heat,
heat.
heat,
Definitely
heat,
not well,
heat.
maybe.
And remember, you can try different points of initiations on your body too. So if you dab with your nose, heat, heat. That makes me laugh. Dab with your earlobe, heat. Or you can like do a dab. What is that? What does that move?
Right. That dance move.
All right, what's next?
Glide.
Heat,
Heat.
heat,
Heat.
heat. That's calming.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next?
Flick.
Heat, heat, heat,
And
heat,
float.
heat, heat, heat. You know, I almost want to go, you know, like inflect up. Heat. What is this you call
The
heat?
heat is rising.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Which one felt the best to you?
Dab was cool.
Dab was, I think, that was pretty cool. Heat. Hanging, and especially if that's the most important thing, ending in a dab. You know, if you think about it, just with the way that um the energy is behind it, it's a lighter energy than like if it was a ring, like you know,
Mhm.
or like this would, I guess, be a press, like heat. We're pressing down, heat. So that's the one that felt the most uncomfortable for me. So you know, at least it's also your decision. Like, do you want to go for comfortable or go for uncomfortable, or just intuit it? Like, all right, I think dab was it. You know, what was there another contender? And let's just kind of do some A/B testing.
Yeah, I also did like the ring as well. Heat.
That's yeah.
Might be a little too powerful, maybe.
It
But
hanging
for
on a
where this is
branch in the
going,
heat.
it kinda seems, you know, we've got the pear, we're juicing it, and then we're heating it up. They're kind of in a, you know, this connectedness state.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that context is huge. So, and if we're starting with life, the punch, life as a pear ain't sweet. Hanging on a branch. Let's do hanging on a branch. Do you have any just gut instincts for those ones? Like hanging.
So
Start with that.
hanging I thought was punch, or no, what did I say?
Hanging.
Press. I said press.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. I think press works. Hanging, hanging. So then now we just, you know, like what are we gonna put between a press and a dab? So hanging on a branch. Branch. What are you thinking
and
for
I'm
branch?
thinking of more of a dab, kinda I mean, not dab, branch,
Branch.
glide.
Yeah, just try if for some just try them all. So like branch, that's a punch. Then branch, branch,
Slash,
branch, branch,
branch.
branch.
You know, it could
Hanging on a branch in heat.
the branch could snap at any moment, and then the pear's on the ground, slashing.
Yeah, no, yeah. Right. Well, okay, do that in sequence. If you do a press, a slash, and a dab. Isn't this interesting to just play with these?
Press. It is. Slash.
Hanging on a branch in heat. Yeah, that dab really adds a little bit of a comic flavor to it. Because it's like, I am pulling you into this story and haha.
Right, and there we are.
Gotcha.
Moment.
Yeah. All right. So do those in full sequence. Life as a pear ain't sweet, hanging on a branch in heat. And you have the punch.
Yes, okay,
Yeah.
so life is a punch. Life as a pear ringing ain't sweet, gliding. And I like
Uh-huh.
that
The
transition
glide.
from the ringing to the glide because it
Yeah,
reminds
the
me of
ring
pulling of the
glide.
pen.
That works. That works really well.
And
And then hanging, you're going to a press. So like this glide to a press, that's a lot like a rice scoop too. You know, you're going on a glide to a.
mm,
It's turning in from a this you know kind of yielding energy of the glide to a press, like a push. You know, so that's kind of
right,
neat too.
changing the direction and
It is changing. Yeah.
hanging on a, what did we say? I said, I said,
I think you were saying slash
slash. Yeah.
branch.
Hanging. Okay. So,
I know it's
uh,
you might want to just jot it down like on a piece of scratch paper or something. Because then because as you're going through these, you don't want to distract yourself by like, what was that word? Because what we're looking for is just like in Bartinia, if you're looking for the sequence and that flow of energy, and when you find the right one, you'll know it. I mean, that's with everything,
so
whether you're saying
when
it
you
or singing it.
define the saying part and the motion part, it's making these patterns for me in my brain. That's kind of like I'm getting into it, and then I'm like, wait a minute, my body's taking in the information. What it is,
Right.
that's kind of overwhelming in trying to feel okay when I did that motion with that word. It's changing. You know, even I can feel the blood in my fingers flowing,
Absolutely.
with the pressure, right? And so
That's yeah, that's a huge win. Well, and then just like working out, the more practice makes progress, right? Like we have this time under tension. We have something that is has no automaticity to it at first because we're learning it, and then we start being able to focus on the big picture. And that's so I'm talking about it's a very Zen Buddhist approach. We go from thinking to not thinking and then without thinking, which is automaticity. And that's where you want to get as you're embodying these because you want to be able to it's basically you're choreographing your song in a way, but
yeah.
it's not in a way that the audience will ever see. You're just embodying that movement and taking that kinesthetic energy, and that's it's all somatic learning. It's just learning through movement, learning through connection. And then you probably on stage, if you were to sing this in like a formal concert recital hall like Carnegie Hall in New York, you're singing Trials of a Pair, you would probably find yourself doing some of those movements just in tiny unnoticeable minuscule ways. But it's just like those times that I've had you like go grab a stuffed animal, throw it up and down while you're
Right,
singing. You're distracting yourself
right.
from having the an anxious reaction, like
Mhm.
the amygdala is going like, oh my gosh, we're on stage, there's people watching, like, oh
Exactly.
no, my only job is I'm going to punch and ring and
Yeah.
glide and push, and yeah.
'Cause you're
So
finding your position and you're throttling through the different positions, and that's keeping your emotional state, right? It's keeping it,
right.
in check as well, 'cause sometimes, you
Well, and
can
that's the power of it.
get
And with I gotta say this, the Spider-Man thing, because with great power comes great responsibility. As you're doing these things and watching other people, you'll start to pick up on maybe some emotional states that they might be in that their words aren't matching. It's just by the way they're moving and the way that they're communicating through nonverbals. And that's where we have to just train ourselves also to not make conclusions and to not turn an observation into a a
definitive kind of,
yes, and that's exactly the right word. Yeah, a definitive statement about, well, here's how you feel. We always have to flip it back on ourselves and say, I wonder if because you're making this like this punch energy, or maybe you're having like a slash, or maybe it's just like, I don't care. You're like floating. Whatever it is, you can say, I wonder if you're feeling this way. And then you do it, yourself, and just investigate your own reactions and then just treat it as information. You might have it's the root of empathy, to be able to engage those mirror neurons. Yeah, well, that's where I'm gonna draw the line. I'm gonna slash the line right there
nerded
in
out a little
neuroscience.
too hard
Otherwise I'll nerd out for an hour.
there. That was great.
Yeah, but let's get through the rest of this first verse. Because aren't there like six more lines and not just two, right? Because isn't it's like two sets of four lines for each verse?
Mhm.
Okay, so let's go fast. Let's fast track this. Can you just read all eight lines out right now, and then just so we can kind of get the whole big picture, and then we can kind of take it from there. I'd love to just have you do a crash through of that what would the movements be for these, and then I think we'll have to pick up on that. So tomorrow we'll focus on singing it.
All right. So life is a pear ain't sweet, hanging on a branch in heat. Never know quite why the good life's passing by. Tree above casts its shade. Beneath the sky, I slowly fade. In the darkness, toil and strife pairs a tough old kind of life.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Just in that first verse, what is the main message that you want the listener to hear? Like, what is the objective? What is the reason for singing? If life were a musical, why did we just hear the orchestra start and now we're going to burst into song?
So I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but my life is not roses. It's not sweet. It's life is, it's taken its toll.
Right. Yeah, and well, and then that's great. I mean, that's a perfect message for the first verse, and it's interesting to see how that leads into the chorus. Because when you're constructing a song, we always have to have the storytelling component of the verse lead us back to the chorus, so we can come back home. We have that sense of return. So, if you had to pick like one of these 8 different efforts that would be an overarching emotion, what would it be? So is verse 1 all about the big push? Is it the punch? Is it the
Mm.
what? So
Mhm.
what?
I see. Um, man, I'm thinking press because it's an oppression. So I'm going press, like
Oppression. Yeah, so
it's
you went semantical.
yeah.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I want the pressure is on. Like there's the story is it's setting the tone here and it's gonna come sinking in, right? So
Hmm.
pressing, you're gonna feel the weight of the emotion uh, throughout the song. So
Yeah.
I'm going with press.
No, I love that. I think you gave a lot of really good support for it. And that's, I just want to point out, this is where we always, as coaches and as, just as we're playing with this information, we have to also, in the name of um, curiosity and wonder and low stakes practice, uh, not be prescriptive for somebody else. So what I mean by that is my overall impression of the first verse is that it's like a ring, like we're just squeezing all that juice out of the pear and be like it's kind of torturous, but I really understood, and you explained well why it's a press for you. You have that, even that word oppression, you know
Right.
it's and that is why that's an important thing for you to be aware of what's that super objective, what is that super message, and not like super as in like super, but like the overarching
Overarching.
message behind this verse, and then you look at that at kind of the macro level. So
That's
that's
a cool
beautiful.
take. That I loved that question. I that really set me up in my mind for,
Well, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, so now with that in mind, and knowing that just because the overarching effort is a press, go ahead and just kind of experiment. Allow yourself to just know this vocabulary. We've been working on it for like 4 days ish. And trust yourself to just move through the song. For right now, just speaking the words. We'll do the singing part tomorrow, but just speak the words and see what happens. And then I just want to hear your observations. So go for it.
and I'm just doing the first 4 lines.
Just no. Let's do this whole first verse. So because that's, I really want to start attaching it to the chorus. So obviously, you would need more time to, and this would be like your homework. So you officially have homework. Is to take each of those lines and break them apart like we did with the first two.
Mhm.
and really get into what is each word, what is each important word, what's the effort behind it. But for right now, I just want you to go on the other side of things and just improvise, knowing that you know at least in emotionally what's the content of this first verse. But I just want to kind of have you start doing it all in context of itself.
So starting from the top.
From the top, just those first 8 lines, the first full verse, and yeah, just trust yourself to move however you want. And
Yeah.
all I want to hear is your observations. So if you observed nothing, that is okay too. So give yourself permission for that. But I have
Right.
a feeling you probably will
Right.
observe something. So yeah, go for it.
Life as a pear ain't sweet, hanging on a branch in heat. Never know quite why the good life's passing by. Tree above it casts its shade. Beneath the sky, I slowly fade. In the darkness, toil and strife. Pear's a tough old kind of life.
Yeah. So what did you notice?
Well, I feel like there's a little bit of sense of life is hard, right? But there's some pride here because even though there's this oppressive state of the orchard, um, there's a recognition of beauty
Hmm.
and beauty in the darkness and the toil and strife. Like it's a tough old kind of life. So it's setting up this character as, hey, I can take it. I'm tough, right? But I'm making this song out of my life, but there's some good and there's some bad, right?
I
Like
love that. Yeah. Well, for me, the way you explained it, it brought up the question: do you think the singer, and this is a deep one, do you think the singer sees releasing from the branch as freedom or as fate?
yeah,
You know, when that pear is plucked.
it seems like it's more fate oriented because it's just it's a cycle of life that pair is enduring and questioning, like everyone does, right?
Yeah. Well, and what really came out just as you were reading it, the way you read it, the biggest image that came out was that, like, in the shade of the tree, I'm starting to fade, like I'm starting to lose my luster, you know.
Mhm.
So there's that was kind of like this really float feel, like towards the end, like a
Mhm.
yielding into, like, whatever comes, like, oh,
But even
uh,
though in the darkness, toil and strife, pair is a tough old kind of life. So there's like
it's
that
tough.
tough part where it's like, but I can endure because I'm tough, right? And not.
Grit, yeah, grit, resilience,
Mhm.
tenacity. You see, like, how deep we can go in this effort, and looking at the emotional content. So that's last question, and then I think we'll cut it, because then that'll set us up really well for tomorrow to sing it. Um, so do you think? Wow, I just blanked on the question. What was I going to ask you? It was really important. uh,
Don't think about it, and then it will come.
I'm trying not to think. I thought about it
So
as
when
soon
you
as.
said when you said the sky, I slowly fade, and you shifted, what what was the position you were there in the
Like
lyrics?
this, I slowly, like this, like the
I
yielding, is that
slowly fade, and then
slowly fade.
in the darkness, toil and strife,
It's a
the
tough
pair
old,
of baffled kind of life.
tough. Yeah, there's
What
kind of like, there's that weightiness that's it, kind of like you're reminding yourself it's a tough old kind. Oh, and that reminds me of the question.
why I
I
did
see what
that.
you did there. I see what you did there. So do you think that, did the pair um either move in service of their objective, move away from their objective, or remain the same by singing those words, by telling that part of the story? Was their movement towards the objective, away from the objective, meaning the objective changed, or nothing, like stillness? What do you think?
I think it changed a bit. I think it changed because, in the first verse, you hanging on the branch and heat, never know quite why the good life is passing by. So there's kind of a bitterness.
Mm.
My life's not sweet, but it's bitter. But hey, in the orchard, cast its shade, slowly fade, all these things. It goes into the cyclical nature of life. And
Oh
then
yeah.
there's that. But you know what? I'm tough, right? This is just life, and I'm tough, and I'm here for it to endure and to keeping on. Keep
That
on.
just gave me like full body goosebumps just the way you explained that, because it's going from this kind of like a victim mentality, or if the objective was to garner support or to wallow in misery or to prove my life is difficult, or to get somebody to give me something in support and make my life easier, whatever that was, whatever that first objective is. It shifted, in that kind of towards the end of the verse, where it's saying like, hey, but I'm a pear,
Yeah.
it's a tough life, but I'm a pear, I've got grit.
Yep. And these are
That's
just the factors of life, but you know what? I'm carrying on.
Yeah. Now I can't just leave it now, and I have to have you. Can you read the chorus?
Yes.
Because I really want to talk about that synaptic point, that connection to it.
Oh, the trials of a pear in the orchard's heavy air, destined for a basket cold, leaving stories left untold.
Hmm. Yeah. Um. Well, okay. I'm gonna just be honest. Like, I got distracted by the third line
No
because it's
problem.
that same thing, adjective at the end, in favor
Yeah,
of the rhyme.
right, right.
Did that bug you, or are you fine with it?
On the third line of destined for a
Yeah,
basket.
and there's no wrong answer. I'm
Yeah,
kind of, I
no,
feel like
I'm
I'm leading the
open.
witness.
I'm open, but that's good. Like, I'm open to that. So let's explore that because
Yeah.
we're making
I,
a cover. We're making it.
yeah. Well, you're taking ownership of the song. I mean, it's a
Right,
song that
right.
you were um part of the generation, so that's called just agency. But I didn't even notice that before. It didn't bug me before, but then we fixed the first verse and it got so much better. um
Good.
so can you read it one more time? Maybe I just need, it's not you, it's me.
Oh,
Maybe
the
I just need a
trials.
more open mind.
Oh, the trials of a pear in the orchard's heavy air, destined for a basket cold, leaving stories left untold. It's the cold untold.
Right. It's the
It has,
basket.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. No, yeah, actually, you go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So when I read it the second time with that in mind, I just imagined myself trying to sing cold and then the stories left untold. Those two, if I'm breaking this down,
Right.
I'm
Well,
gonna
for
explore
me,
that.
yeah, for me, it's the word order. Because if we're telling a story, we wouldn't say, "Hey, Mrs. Pixel, look over there. Do you see that basket cold?"
Right.
And you're like, "What does the are you describing somebody's cold, or like what does that mean?" It's grammatically correct ish. It's just not, it's not very colloquial, and it's not and that's what I think I really love about this song, is that it's somebody bearing their soul, and they're doing it in a very, excuse the pun, digestible way. As a pair, sorry.
So pretty.
um but the basket cold, it took me out of the story, but that also might be a me hang up, because I love the thought of it, like it, and it really supports um that feeling of gravity, or gravitas, that we were talking about, that shifts into tenacity, gravity to tenacity, there you go. But it's he's saying, I'm gonna lose I'm gonna lose the life that I have, and I'm gonna be in a cold basket. It's
Mhm.
kind of like saying I've got one foot in the grave.
Right.
As I'm hanging here in the heat on this tree, looking at all the other pears. Just knowing and knowing that life's rough, life's tough, but I'm tougher. So it's really interesting how just working through that first verse has now shown a light on the chorus and what it actually really means. Because before I was just like, oh, it's a really catchy chorus.
Right, right. Exactly.
Okay, can you read the chorus one more time? I think I don't know about you, but I need to like sleep on it because
For
I
sure.
need to investigate. Is this like me being grammar police, or is it really what's going on here? So yeah,
It's
one more
fine
time.
art, so, okay.
It
Oh,
is.
oh, the trials of a pear in the orchard's heavy air, destined for a basket cold, leaving stories left untold.
Yeah, man, that leaving stories left untold gets me every time.
I know, I know.
It's heartbreaking. Um,
But
okay,
there's so
cool.
much beauty in it too, because then you're right away, your imagination is flooding with all the possibility.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I am imagining this pair on like a cowboy trail, sitting around a campfire, telling stories to the youngins,
Mhm.
and saying like, "Oh, the trials of a pair," you know,
Right.
um, and the just I love the phrase "in the orchard's heavy air," because you're thinking like there you already have the heat. And it's really when it's really hot out in the late summer, like the dog days of summer, it's just heavy. The humidity is so high. It's hard to breathe. There's so many different interesting avenues for expression there. um maybe I'm not like put off by the basket cold. um I think we could let's try maybe tomorrow. Let's both sleep on it. We'll try some
Yeah,
new
we'll leave
things and then see
leave
what
it
we
in the
like
air,
best.
then we'll come back.
Yeah.
And,
Awesome.
if anybody viewing has any, feelings on this, let us know, hit us up, tell us
Yeah.
what you think.
Put
Um,
the comments in. You can comment live if you're here. But so tomorrow, yeah, we'll focus on the music piece. And if you're just tuning in, I know a couple people just tuned in. This is the How Can I Keep From Singing Challenge. And this was a very philosophical day where we didn't even do singing because we're just kind of preparing ourselves to make this arrangement. And we were talking through the emotional content of this song, The Trials of a Pair, and making some decisions on what are those objectives, and what are the actions this pair is taking. And it got real deep. So
real talk.
real deep. Yeah. But so if you'd like to join us in this challenge, and you can get real deep too, you can join us with the QR code below, or you can also go to nas.io/keep singing, all one word, lowercase, and join us there in the challenge. We also have, if you're watching on the X platform, we have a community that's pinned to my profile, and lots of other ways you can just see us on social media. This is broadcasting on Facebook and X and LinkedIn and Twitch, and let's there's like three more. Um,
All
Not
major
Instagram,
social
sorry.
media platforms.
Yeah, check your social. Yeah, wherever you're watching this, that's where it's broadcasting. Uh, oh yeah, and YouTube. I think YouTube is going to be probably the easiest place to find it, because I'm creating a playlist as we go. I'm also pinning everything on X under my pinned post, so that you really can definitely find it. And it is a free challenge for everybody, 30 days, and to more connected singing. So hope to see you in the community, and thank you for the patience as I broadcast from Caropolis. I'll be back in the studio tomorrow. But Mrs. Pixel, any final thoughts?
Yeah, and to anybody that's interested as well, I wanna drop the instrumental of the song Trials of a Pair for anybody that wants to play around with it in Bandlab if you're joining the challenge. Just throwing that out there too.
But yeah, also thank you for reminding me. If you don't want to like join Bandlab, and I don't know why you wouldn't, but you can also pick up the track and support the Bears. This is part of their rev share model for their community, and I'm happy to support it. I even purchased it live a couple days ago as we were getting into this arrangement. So you can definitely support the Pairs there. Come to karaoke on Sundays that they have at 5 o'clock Central Time. And that is always a blast. It was so fun last night.
It
So
really
yeah.
was. Yeah, it was great fun. Thank you. And please, everyone, just I don't know, just keep singing, right? Because how
Because you
can you
can't keep
not?
from it. How can I
And the
keep from
more the
singing? You
merrier.
can't.
It's just
Yeah,
so much fun.
it is. And there's that QR code one more time. So yeah, that's it'll be great to see you in the community. And go make a beautiful rest of your Monday. I'm going to go start my Monday. So, all right.
Happy
See you
Monday.
tomorrow. Happy Monday. Now I can't find the end stream button.